Romero isn't bothered by the fact that Turki Alalshik has already mapped out a rematch between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney for October, even before his own fight against Garcia takes place. In his mind, it's irrelevant because he fully expects to defeat Garcia in their match on May 2 at Times Square in New York City. Rolly has no doubt that he will dominate Ryan, making any discussion about a Garcia-Haney rematch pointless. However, the situation does raise some questions. What happens if either Garcia or Haney loses their upcoming fights on the Fatal Fury card? Would the rematch still take place, or would Turki Alalshik reconsider? Many fans believe that if Garcia loses to Rolly, setting up a fight between two fighters coming off losses wouldn't make much sense from a competitive standpoint. The entire purpose of a rematch is usually to settle an unresolved rivalry. But if Garcia is coming off a fresh loss, it could damage the credibility of the fight. Rolly believes that if Haney and Garcia go ahead with their rematch despite suffering defeats, it would reflect poorly on the sport. However, he also acknowledges that Turki Alalshik might not necessarily care about how things appear from a traditional boxing perspective. Instead, Turki might be more focused on the entertainment value that such a matchup would bring. Rolly compares this situation to another high-profile fight, Terence Crawford moving up 2 entire weight classes to challenge Canelo Alvarez. He argues that while such fights generate buzz, they are more about spectacle than legitimate sporting competition. The boxing world has seen an increasing number of matchups made purely for entertainment, rather than based on rankings or merit. If Turki is purely focused on delivering entertaining fights that generate high viewership and ticket sales, he might not care whether Haney and Garcia are both coming off losses. In the end, what matters most to promoters is how much money a fight can make, not necessarily how logical it is from a competitive standpoint. Even if the idea of a Garcia-Haney rematch doesn't sit well with traditional boxing fans, Rolly knows that Haney and Garcia themselves likely won't complain. At the end of the day, both fighters are getting massive paychecks regardless of the circumstances. However, what does bother Rolly is the possibility that he might not be properly rewarded if he wins. He believes that if he defeats Ryan Garcia, he should receive some kind of recognition in a bigger opportunity, rather than being pushed aside onto an undercard fight against a lesser-known opponent. From his perspective, if he beats Garcia, he should be the one in line for a major fight next, not Garcia. It wouldn't make sense for him to deliver a dominant performance only to be sidelined while Garcia gets another major fight with Haney. Rolly wants to ensure that if he wins, his career benefits from it, rather than allowing boxing politics to work against him. Romero has made it very clear that he doesn't care about what happens after his fight with Garcia. In his eyes, it's simple, he's going to beat Garcia, and after that, Haney and Garcia can do whatever they want. He doesn't see any point in discussing the October rematch when he's confident that he will take Garcia out of the equation entirely. In his own words, he bluntly stated, "I'll beat the S out of Ryan, and they can rematch." This kind of confidence has always been a part of Rolly's personality, and he's not one to shy away from making bold statements. He thrives on proving people wrong and shocking the boxing world, and he intends to do just that when he steps into the ring against Garcia. Whether fans believe him or not, he is determined to make a statement, and he isn't paying any attention to what comes next for Garcia or Haney. When asked if he would be interested in facing Devin Haney if he manages to defeat Garcia, Rolly completely dismissed the idea. He sarcastically pointed out that Haney already got beaten in his last fight, and now it's Garcia's turn. In his mind, he has no interest in fighting Haney because he sees both fighters as damaged goods. However, some believe Rolly might not be entirely truthful about his lack of interest in the matchup. If Turki Alalshik were to offer him a massive payday, would he really turn it down? Many doubt it. Boxing is a business, and money plays a huge role in determining fights. If the right offer is put in front of him, it's hard to imagine Rolly rejecting it in favor of a less lucrative matchup. While he may claim to not care about a fight with Haney, the reality is that every fighter wants the biggest payday possible. If he defeats Garcia, and Turki offers him a massive financial incentive to fight Haney, chances are Rolly would accept without hesitation. Rolly Romero's confidence isn't just talk. He genuinely believes he has the power, skill, and mindset to dismantle Ryan Garcia on May 2. He has made it clear that he doesn't see Garcia as a real threat and views their fight as nothing more than a stepping stone to bigger opportunities. However, many boxing analysts argue that he might be underestimating Garcia's speed and counterpunching ability. While Rolly is known for his aggressive, unorthodox style and knockout power, Garcia has quick hands and a dangerous left hook that has put many opponents on the canvas. If Rolly goes into this fight solely relying on his power without considering Garcia's strengths, he could find himself in trouble. The fight is shaping up to be an exciting clash of styles, power versus speed, and it's anyone's guess who will come out on top. Another interesting factor in this matchup is the mental game. Rolly has always been a trash talker who knows how to get under his opponent's skin, and he has already started targeting Garcia with verbal jabs. However, Ryan Garcia has been unpredictable in the media lately, sometimes brushing off criticism and other times engaging in heated back-and-forth exchanges with fighters and fans. His mental state going into this fight could play a huge role in the outcome. If he allows Rolly's trash talk to distract him, it could affect his focus in the ring. On the other hand, if he uses it as motivation, we might see an even more determined version of Ryan Garcia, looking to prove that he is still one of the best in the division. Boxing is just as much a mental battle as it is a physical one, and how each fighter handles the pre-fight mind games will be crucial. Another major talking point is what happens after this fight, regardless of who wins. If Rolly Romero pulls off the victory, it could shake up the lightweight and super lightweight divisions. He would likely demand a bigger fight, possibly against a high-profile opponent like Devin Haney or even someone outside of the current matchups, depending on what the promoters decide. On the other hand, if Ryan Garcia wins, it would validate the belief that he is still a top contender and make the rematch with Devin Haney even more interesting. However, if Garcia loses, it could be a major setback for his career. He has already suffered one high-profile loss to Gervonta Davis, and another defeat could raise serious doubts about his ability to compete at the highest level. This fight is more than just a battle between two fighters. It has serious implications for their careers moving forward. The financial aspect of this fight also cannot be ignored. With Turki Al-Sheikh heavily involved in boxing promotion, we've seen a trend of big money fights being made purely for entertainment purposes. Fans are beginning to notice that matchups are sometimes chosen based on their ability to generate hype rather than their actual competitive merit. While that approach has led to some exciting fights, it has also raised concerns about the direction of the sport. If Garcia and Haney are locked into a rematch, regardless of what happens on May 2N, it could send a message that performance in the ring matters less than marketability. This could set a precedent where fighters no longer have to truly earn their opportunities, but instead rely on their ability to sell tickets and generate views. At the end of the day, Rolly Romero sees this fight as his chance to prove himself on a big stage. He has always been a fighter who embraces the underdog role, using it as fuel to silence doubters. While many see Ryan Garcia as the favorite due to his speed and past success, Rolly is determined to show that he is the tougher, stronger fighter who can break Garcia down